Hello. Thank you, Mr. Vishal. Another webinar, another presentation we have for Business Central. And thank you for your introduction. Welcome everybody again. Like every Thursday, we're gonna have another interesting topic for Business Central Dynamics 365. And we are going to check today, yes, the services module. And we're going to have the possibility to not only understand the functions, but to see the software, to see how this new version and the flavor of in the cloud process works, as well as on premises. And I'm going to be explaining everything there. The idea is that we're going to have today in our service team, I'm going to explain what is this about. Let's imagine that we're going to have a service team for maintenance, or if you buy a car, you're gonna receive warranty and a program of activities, tasks for your car, and you can have this as well. All right, so we're gonna go through that. And at the end, if you want, and if you have further questions as well, we're gonna have some time in order to review every topic that you want to see in detail. All right, so let's begin from the general. In Business Central, we're gonna have very navigation for the role center. Let me just minimize. What we are looking at is Business Central. We are going to open now Business Central in every browser. Today I'm using Firefox, and it's actually very useful because I just can open any browser. You can save into your favorite, your Business Central page like I have here, and I have other applications that all of them are integrated with Business Central without any programming or any type of special installation or anything like that. Let's think of Outlook. Let's check of Teams, which is a sort of Facebook and internal chat for the company. Let's think of forecasting models. Completely and out of the box, we can integrate artificial intelligence to your company. And as well, I have here my Business Central. So some of the general features. And here as well, what you see here today is my already open Business Central page where I'm going to have the, well, this is telling me Business Central is saying, hi, good morning. And today I have activities related to, guess what? Service orders, service quotations, contracts. Also, we have that. I'm going to explain all of this. All right, so we have special pages dedicated to the different activities for, in this case, the service, and I have timesheets that I can have review how much, well, the time that people is actually using for our work. We have other features, but it will take a lot of time to review all of them. Then, how and what is important here to take from this webinar? Well, if I want to work internally, in order to have some management of the people creating service maintenance, maybe for my computers or my facilities in my building, that will be internal work, and I would have to create, and I can use the service module. As well, if you want to offer to your customers, once you sell any of your items or your inventory, maybe electronics, maybe something that you have some manufacturing, or why not just simply offer some sort of support programs after you sell something, your warranties, and then you would like to offer that to get profit. That's the most important use of the service module, and we can have it. All right. So I'm going to start explaining from the basics, and I'm going to go then to the general overview of the process. In first place, we need to understand the inventory, because what type of service, what type of items do I sell, or let's explain that in first place. And then I'm going to offer a review, the documentation we're going to be using, how the process is handled, like let's assign this and that people. We have people qualified. We have people in different regions, maybe, right? And a good idea of the actual workflow and steps and tasks that we can have in the service module. Let's imagine if you go to Home Depot, then you can purchase any device for your store, for your house. You can, of course, if it's something like kitchen or something like that, really, we can just hire a service order for this company to go to our house, send some people to install it, take some spare parts, apply some time to a service order, and charge the customer, which would be me. That's a great, in the context we're gonna have today. That's the basic general idea of what we're gonna have with service module, but it could be used internally for your company as well. Okay, if I'm gonna start with any of the explanations, I should begin with the type of a inventory, the service that I can provide, all right, before going to the actual process. And in order to understand that, I need to review, I'm today actually in Tech Chronos. I've been using this for like 2 or 3 webinars. This company is very useful for this type of activities, where I have, you can see here, some devices that are related to technology, like a HP Pavilion laptop, the Latitude laptop as well, but I have here a BiPower gaming desktop PC. Why is this? Well, because I offer a warranty. Once any of my customers purchase any item, and I actually have these items, or I have a list of technology items in my warehouse, right? So as well, I have a service item, which is this list. But what happened is that a service item is completely different from your normal inventory. Is not that. But all this that you have here is not inventory. All these computers that you see here in this list, they are not actually in my warehouse. I have already sold these items. But at some point, if you want to offer warranties, once the item has left already the warehouse, then we are gonna have track of those items. And look at this. I have this BiPower gaming desktop PC. Let's take a look at the information. This is the description, the item number, and guess what? I have a serial number to identify particularly any of the items that I have sold by serial number, right? So if my customer at some point needs a warranty or needs a service, so for some repairs, I'm going to be identifying if the current item with the serial number is under a maintenance program, under a warranty, and so on. Okay, so you have some basic idea of how we actually do it. The way actually it works, or it could work, you can create your service items manually, or we could have, for instance, let me just open my regular items. Let's differentiate this in first place. I believe that sure is a little bit slow today, but no problem. Okay, guess what? In your normal catalog, you could have many items where you can just sell them in your stores or in the warehouse, or if you're a wholesaler, right? But because the idea is that for some items that you want, you could offer a maintenance program or a warranty. So if somebody has an issue with the item, they can come back, call me, and I would offer them a assistance, either by replacing a new item, or why not just offering a repair. That's another type of, or the first use of this type of activities. Now, if I open, excuse me, if I open any item randomly, let's take a look at the HP laptop. You can see the pictures, you can see how all the information that I'm going to check here. Okay, the information that I need to understand first of all is that you can create any regular item. Today I have in the HP Pavilion laptop. I actually sell it, I purchase it, and this is an inventory type of item, right? We have inventory, service, and non-inventory. First of all, we need to understand the type of items that I could have in my company, and hopefully I do not confuse you. First of all, the inventory type of item which we have in this example is an item that I purchase and I stock and I count. I can do physical counting or I can do adjustments, right? This has a cost and this has a price. So when I sell it, I actually record the item, but basically the most important thing is that in my warehouse, I'm going to be deducting the unit with the specific unit of measure, right? Very good. So hopefully that's the easiest type of item. Then I have the non-inventory type of item. Okay, a non-inventory type of item is something that I purchase, right? But it's more, let's say, let me give you an idea. The office supplies. I purchase paper, I purchase pens, and well, this type of items, I just purchase them and I'm gonna just at some point just use them. I might maybe count them, it's not a problem when I receive them, but I'm not going to stock it in my warehouse. So my warehouse cannot see the non-inventory type of item, right? But the item exists, you can purchase, right? And you can use it and you can see how many items you have. If we get a report, we can see how many cartridges for your print for your printer you still have, right? But if we have WMS or we want to use our handhelds, the non-inventory type of items simply do not exist. It cannot be seen, all right? Then we have something that we call the service item, okay? And this is designed by Business Central. The service item is something that I actually is as well non-inventoriable. I do not have it. It's only that I'm going to sell it and post it into the GL for the expenses as an example. I can as well sell this type of item. Let's think of marketing. You can, I don't know, offer some banners, you purchase them and you go to an outlet and put everything in the campaign, purchase or POP material, right? So we are not going to specifically gonna sell this, but as well, this type of item is just going to be an expense most of the time, right? But guess what? This is not the item we're going to be reviewing today. Okay, let me explain you then what happens here. And that's why I need to be very clear in first place with this concept. Okay, now let me give you an explanation of my actual items that I'm going to be using. This laptop as well has the possibility, which is an inventory type of item. I do counts of these adjustments. I can read it with a barcode. It's just basically a stock type of item. But if I actually want to offer a maintenance program and call it the service item that I actually have in my service module, well, I just would need to specify one configuration, and I want to separate from my previous explanation this type of methodology. Then I'm going to have some service item groups. Okay, so whenever I classify for any services my items, I here have some different groups of items that I actually, when I sell them, I'm thinking I want to offer for some items only my maintenance programs, my warranties, my technicians to make some repairs if I need them, right? So in that, what is going to happen if I classify any of the items that I have in my normal catalog as, and I classify it with this configuration service item group, we are telling to Business Central, if I sell, and once I sell my item, then my warranty is going to begin. Then I can use it, give me the serial number of the item whenever I sell them, and I'm gonna keep record of that sales operation with the item number, with the serial number, with the spare parts, with the components that this item has, and I'm gonna keep track of all that information in the service module, right? So hopefully that's clarifying everything. So what I'm doing is just once I have a sales operation, I'm copying and I'm saving that information in the service module, because there I'm going to then have further work for this a service operation, right? So that's why I'm giving the, first of all, the inventory explanation, what type of items we can create, and why we have as well some items that could be a service, right? But it's a service because I do not stock it. That item is a service from the accounting perspective, right? Which is an expense most of the time. And then I have the possibility to tell, which is maybe the word is as well service, which could be quite confusing, but it's completely different here, because in this case, I'm telling the system with this configuration, hey, once I sell it, please keep track of this because I need to review later this type of item. Okay, what happened here with this item, if I, for instance, create a sales order, and you know that I have the possibility to integrate it with Outlook. So you could have an email from your customer asking for this item, and you actually from Outlook can create a sales order, right? As an example. Now, if I create that actual operation, this actually can be created from your POS if you have them, right? So you sell it, and this is going to be used through a customer or special order. That's the way the POS call them. So if I just create, I'm creating currently manually a sales order document, right? I'm including a document, a customer that is called a datum, right? So the idea for me is that I'm going to be requested by my POS, or in this case by my customer directly in the sales order. I could be in the warehouse actually having the requisition, right, for the customer, and he's asking for 2 laptops. So here's the item. Here is the location called my warehouse. This could be a store, or this could be, now we have the possibility to have a electronic, excuse me. We have web pages from where we can sell. We can integrate to Amazon if you want it, or any local page for us to receive the request from our customers. Also, it's integrated Business Central with PayPal out of the box, so you can receive payments as well. All right. Now, what happened here is, no matter how my integrations could be with retail, with Amazon, or just a regular and very standard sales order, what I do here is that once I just try to pause this transaction, I'm going to then just ship and invoice my order, and I'm going to be selling now these items. Let me see if once I have this, if you have any doubt of what can I be selling here, please just let me know if you have special requests. Okay, very easy, right? Okay, the idea is that I have just sold an item. Very easy, right? From any device, the idea is that I'm deducting my inventory from my warehouse. If Business Central see that that is happening at this point, I'm going to have an invoice, etc., and I'm going to need to now review my service module. In the service management, and my service items has make a record, and after the sales operation, no matter which channel I used to sell, I'm going to have now a new record here of the HP pavilion that actually I sold, is the actual item that I have. And let's take a review of the items that I have. Let's open a service item card, and what Business Central has now saved, and what is the record that we are going to be seeing now. Okay. Oh, well, it's a by Power Gaming desktop. It's another computer that I just sold, right? And let's make a review. This is not, as you can understand, I have already sold the item. Very good. So first of all, the status of this item. This is, as you can see, and as you can understand, this is not the item that I have designed, that I have normally in my catalog. This is just a record of when I sold the item, what is the warranty, and let's take a look at this. The status of this item is installed, meaning that I don't have this item anymore, and it's currently in the customer facilities. This could be as well an own service item if you want to as well, maybe to your computers or to, I don't know, have some maintenance on your facilities. You could actually create something internally, but the difference is that you are not going to have profit with these type of items. Temporarily installed, right? This could be an item that you actually have in your customer facilities that you actually are going to have just for some time, but at the end you're going to have this item back, or the item is just defective. All right, so you receive an item, you can create an item manually. The idea first that I want to give you is that the item was created from a sales order, but you can create it as well because it's defective, right? And you can create it manually just by click on the plus button, and this is going to create a brand new, well, a new a service item card with the same fields. Okay, so as well, I have a serial number to identify this specific item because I could have sold many by Power Gaming desktop PC, but every unit has a specific serial number. Now, let's go to the important part. I have as well these specific fields related to, guess what, a warranty. Okay, so I'm offering just for now a warranty that is going to be for 1 year. You can see here that this was sold on April 27, and the warranty ending date will be until 2021. And I have warranty for my spare parts if you want it, and for labor if you as well want it. The idea of having an overall warranty for any item is that you need to offer to your customers. I'm going to provide you a special prices for a warranty to offer you that that specifically for maybe technology or for these items that you install, right? You normally offer a warranty. Let's think of Home Depot, where you are going to be purchasing a kitchen or something like that, right? So you're going to offer a warranty, and maybe for a year, you're not going to charge for labor if something was defective or the installation was not correct, and the warranty parts if something start failing, right, at some point. But this is optional. As you can see here, I'm offering that warranty parts discount for 100% for this specific period. And that's going to be important when I create a service order, and I'm going to start the workflow in a moment. But the idea that I want you to take for the service item card, we have, and we keep track of the record, the item, once the item is sold, or I can create it manually. This could be installed on the customer facilities, or this, maybe the customer is coming to my store, bringing the item, and I need to create the item card, the service item card, and select it as is defective, so I can keep track of the record. And then give the information about the warranties, that this could be actually for the specific item, this could actually be automated. So the warranty, once it's understood, is going to fill the dates automatically. And with the discounts specifically, that could be automated as well as a suggestion, right? So you can decide internally in your policies how you want to actually do that for your company. Do you want to offer a warranty for how long and discount, or is not discounted, maybe only 20%? Maybe that's also some of the features that you can use here. Okay, now we're going to have customer information that from the customer that actually just purchases. And then I have some other information about the ship to code, where this item currently is, maybe because I already sold the item and I will need to know these are actually the customer offices, okay? These are not the Adatum Corporation is my customer, and this is the address, and here's where the item is located. Because this information is gonna be then important if I want to then send my people to make a repair, right? So you can have both, or your customer visits you with the item defective, or actually just calls you. You can have maybe a service responsible that is going to be attending callings, and then that way you're going to be actually creating in first place your service item cards. Or if somebody calls you, hey, I have an issue, my serial number for my item is this, and just take a look at the service item catalog to actually look for that serial number and review this information. So hopefully that's clarifying the basic concept of the normal item and a service item, correct? The one that we are having here. And just to have, of course, I need to understand that the idea of the service module is to actually keep track, management, create invoices for your customers at the end. So from the operation, I have, of course, my unit cost, and I have the sales unit price as a suggestion as well. Okay. The last thing you need to understand, once we have an service item card, we're going to explain it at the end, but here I have this field, so I need to explain it. A contract. We can have a negotiation with any customer you want, where you're going to be actually managing a maybe, well, if we are talking about computers in this example, is because I have sold maybe to a company 10 computers or something like that, and you want to offer a default activity, right, for maintenance every 2 months, as an example. If you have a brand new computer, you're not going to need all the time a weekly service, but let's say that is preventive, just review, create a contract, and if you have some spare parts, maybe you can send somebody to the office facilities of your customer, and we can create contracts to review the actual prices, the periodicity for your services, maybe a monthly service every 2 weeks. And so hopefully that's explaining what is the concept of the contract, but that's going to come at the end. The idea for now is, okay, what is a service item? Okay, it has a warranty. It has a serial number, very important. You can receive your customer, or you can receive and create a service desk with a responsible. So you can have all this and ready to now, let's begin with offering a service. Okay, if you have doubts, I believe this is still easy to understand. I'm not going to complexity for now, because of course there are some other aspects of this. Like somebody could ask me, hey, but what about if my item has components? Okay, that's very complex, and I need to review which components I have for any item, where I actually need to in advance review if I have a bill of materials. In this case, well, we can have it as well. So we can add some other complexity, especially in the tech world, because your customers, they are very, very specialized. So a graphical designer might want specific graphic programs, I don't know, right? A flat panel. So you can actually, from a general perspective of a bill of materials, have components, make some repairs, right? Change the components that is defective, and your people, while is offering, once we release a service order, we are going to review now with the process. Of course, they can see this information. Okay, so that's the basic concept. And now I'm going to go and create a service order. Let's think of let's start from something easy. I have a service desk, and somebody's calling. No, I know that I would normally have a great attention with my customers. That's what I want, because I'm providing maintenance. I will be receiving these people that is going to be not in the best mood in the world, right? Because they are having issues, right? But at the end, I need to attend them immediately. That's the idea, right? So in order to actually do so, what I'm going to do immediately is just create a service order document. That's the first document I need to understand in this webinar. Here it is, the service order. Let's review this. I have a list of sales orders. This is in the demo environment, actually. So I have a list of service orders that were already having different status, like pending, in process, finished. Let's explain now how this works. Let's explain now, let me open just any of the sales orders, service orders that I have. This is a new document that we're gonna be seeing for the first time, okay? What I have here is that as well, I have the information from my customer. I'm creating this. I could select like in a purchase order or in a sales order. In this case, for the service order, vendors are not included here. It's only for my customers, right? So I'm not going to be providing service for my vendor. If that's the case, I will need to create my vendor as a customer, all right? So that's the idea. All right, now I'm going to be selecting any of the list the customer that I have in my company. The idea is that you could offer this to any of your customers, right? For all the items that you actually sell. So my customer is an Atom Corporation, like any other document where I sell any item. Well, I'm in this case just providing services, all right? So I have a header where I have the general information of the customer, my contact. What else? The status is still pending, right? Meaning that maybe my technician is still maybe waiting for something. We're going to review that in a moment. And the release status is still open, meaning that I haven't actually just start with the operations. So my customer is calling me and I'm going to ask him, okay, I'm going to attend you now. My name is Wellman. Just as an example, right? You can think of any process so you can use this document. Now, I would ask, first of all, which is your item that you actually have with some issues. And immediately when I actually creating my service order, I'm going to review not the actual items that I have in my catalog in my company, right? But these service items that I have a record that I have sold and I know the serial number. So I have sold to this customer 3 HP Pavilion laptops, very good. By Power Gaming desktop, very good. And two Dell all-in-one computers. The first thing I need to ask, okay, what's the serial number of the actual component or item that you actually would like to have or if you have any issue, right? So here is the actual serial numbers. You can filter. We have some functionality. If you want to navigate, if you want to see our webinar for the Business Central introduction and navigation, it would be useful, right? But here we have some functions, so we can just type the serial number. We can rearrange if you want to look for to ascending, descending filter, because normally you will have maybe more items than just this small list. Once you actually have the implementation, we are going to help you with this. We can also help you to design your service product, your service management process, right? So you can have a service desk or maybe just visiting the customers or something that can help you. We can help you in the implementation with some good ideas. But let's then understand the document, right? So I would ask, first of all, to my customer, which actual item is having issues. I'm having two currently now. The item 34, Dell in one computer. And I can see immediately that this item is not under any warranty. Very, very important. This is automated from the actual service item I showed you before. This is reviewing the dates. This is reviewing the information. And this is not currently, so I'm not going to offer. And I can tell them, hey, this item to my customer, and I cannot provide you with discounts. You need to pay for this because this is not running under a warranty. Maybe this is a maybe quite old item. Normally that will be happening, but this item actually, the second item, the by Power Gaming desktop PC, is under a warranty. Okay, very important. This is part of your actual normal service tasks to review and give an immediate response to your customer. Okay, now in the same calling or while the customer is visiting my desk, the first thing is to ask him what is the issue, right? And Business Central, through configuration, and that's something that we help you to design with your technicians as well, all right? First of all, the troubleshooting, okay? So you don't need to have a special technician working specialized with everything and all the technology. This could be any person, but we're gonna be helping here to maybe I don't know anything about computers, right? That's the idea here of the troubleshooting. We're gonna have a list of different possible things or areas of failures that we could have. Let's think of a server, okay? So I'm gonna be having a conversation with my customer in order to begin a service order. And then I'm gonna ask, what is the issue? Okay, a server failure. And this is going to give then different possibilities for me to start making some questions, all right? And that's just in the case, especially if I'm not I'm not the greatest technician in the world, so I would need to start making some questions coming from the help as well that I have provided. So that database of troubleshooting could be immense. It depends, of course, but I want to give you the basic idea, right? Or, well, if you have specialized people, great technicians, well, this could be just small, right? The troubleshooting is just to provide some insights into what to ask so your customer can be happy in the first place. And if you have very specialized people in these specific areas, well, this is not maybe the most fast way to go, but just immediately we could create, let me show you, comments, okay? You can immediately, if you're specialized in the failures, if you know what to ask, if you have technicians asking and giving yours, well, that would be the best in my opinion, right? So immediately you can have and create comments for faults resolution, internal, we have internal communications with internal chats, accessories, and landloaders. Let me just give you a brief explanation. Just to go directly with the customer, let's think of I'm a good technician. What is the issue now? Okay, I have here, is asking for what are the symptoms of your computer, your server. Okay, I have a heating issues. That's very normal when I have this type of items, right? Another is the noise, the quality is unstable, whatever, right? Then for me, I could provide some insights. This is not myself doing the actual work, it's just giving some information for the failure, right? So this could maybe require a replacement. And well, very important, after the technician or the service responsible has, as an option, filled this information, this do not necessarily has to be filled immediately, but at least give some idea from your customer about what is happening. And then from the internal policies of my company, I have the response time for the date about a service, when this has to be actually done, finished, I mean, the response time. So we are going to be measuring these activities. Now, the loaner is if I can offer a temporary replacement for this actual computer, so I'm going to receive it. But if you want to be having some other features for your service, you can give for a while a replacement for the same item and give a loaner, right? So I have the sermon teamwear package, a monitor that I could actually just immediately lend to the customer as a replacement of the actual item that was damaged, right? So that's it. It's just the general procedure that we most of the time we just do, and we can just immediately review in first place if maybe the components that I have. This is part of the bill of materials. Whenever you have a bill of materials, if that's not the case, well, you have the information immediately here. And as well, immediately here, as in the skill resource tab, you can click according to the diagnosis that I have provided into the service order. Business Central is actually just reviewing who's qualified to help me with this. And this here in the skill resource tab. I don't have to do anything. Just I just would be having a conversation with my customer and filling the most important information. But as well here, Business Central gave me the component list that could be replaced for these type of items, and is giving me as well the resources that could be actually just doing this work, right? So let's think of finishing this call. Oh, very important, you could have attachments. You can see the quotes, the orders that you still have with these customers open, the posted shipments, meaning that for this special service order, I have already sent some components, and just general information, the invoicing information, right? But this is just broad. The important part of the service order is just the attention for your customer, right? This is just general information brought by the catalog of the customer, information that we're going to have, the shipping information, where are we going to send maybe the technicians or the components. This is coming from the service card, item card, because we know where this item is located. And that's why we have this ship to code information and some other, this detailed information, not yet. Okay, so this is the first call and the attention to the customer, and that's it. if you have some more requests about what type of other attention we could provide, well, we have, of course, more. Of course, we could release by email this to our customers, a lot of features, right? But the most important is here, troubleshooting and times to provide the service, okay? So that's the way in the first webinar we're having about this. This is the how I will be having this specific a creation of my service orders, why I'm having attention to the customers. And at the end, very important, the priority. We have defined, and we can define for you in your company if you want to use this module, a specific priority either for some specific items. This also could be manual if you want to change it because your customer is not only because of the item, but he's asking you about something specific. I have a very urgent issue I never expected to have. We have maybe the maintenance programs under control and everything, but you know, sometimes things just fail. So you can add specific manual, a priority, manual responses date, manual responses time. So we have the configuration for your policies, but at the end you can change it, okay? So that's the idea that I just wanted to provide. Nothing, okay, that will be at the end. Okay, so I have many service orders, I'm attending many customers, and well, since I'm just giving a demo, at some point, I need to now as an administrator do all the activities, right? But the first task is just to attend your customers and use this functionality to actually complete that part. But we, at the end, every day we're gonna have more and more work to attend. Then in my workshop, or now the technicians that are in the field, maybe in your country, in the north, in the center, in the south, in different geographical areas, how do we actually work with the service orders that were requested? How do we actually just work? We have a dispatch board where we are going to just open this. Okay, we're gonna have a dispatch board for my, let's say the week, in this case, just as an example, right? For my week or for any periodicity the month, the idea is that we're gonna have some service orders that are currently open with the priority and the response time and date where you need to actually just act, okay? So I have, these are the list of service orders created that you need to immediately see and attend, and this is a dispatch where I'm gonna be maybe another person, maybe the technician's manager as an example, right? So the first thing to do, I'm gonna be another person in the team now in the field working to attend all the service orders, basically. And now in this new position, what I should do in first place, review all the orders that I need to review by priority, and then start allocating resources. Now, how do I do it? I have a list of sales orders. Here's the number 1, the 8, the 5. We can customize your numbers for you, and the status. Okay, so many orders are still pending. I haven't started working with them. Some of them are in process and some of them are finished. Here you can use all these different filters in the top of this page to start filtering maybe by document page. Are we quoting still some services, or these are actually orders that I need to just complete now? By zone, I have different zones in my company, the east, the north, the south. So my technicians are in different places and I need to monitor all the different areas. Start doing so. Then, if I have contracts, well, I'm not going to explain that yet, at the end only. And the customer filter, maybe one of your customers is just calling and calling and calling. What happened with my item? What happened with my service? Well, okay, no problem. Let's attend that by filtering by customer. Okay, that's more or less how a dispatch board works. At the end, I need to review just the following. For me as a manager, I will be reviewing the work to do in a specific period of time and review, then look at this, the contract, the service zone, and number of allocations. This is the most important thing in my dispatch board. Let me explain this. Whenever I have an allocation, in this case, I have one for this order for a datum. I have many orders for a datum actually in this demo. Then I have here the number 2, and this indicator, or this means that I have already 2 people allocated to perform this work, and I have the order date when they need to finish this and the order time. Okay, so what I'm reading here is that, or I could filter just only by those orders that currently doesn't have an allocation. That would be the most important thing to do, correct? And of course, because they have medium or high priority, right? So it doesn't make sense in my dispatch that I have attended only orders that currently have a low priority. So, well, this means that I need to review this. And well, that's why when I open Business Central, and you saw that I have a service role, right? So I immediately open and I have to review my dispatch board and start allocating. I'm going to show you how to allocate. But here you have KPIs as well that are telling you how many service orders you have currently in process, finished, and or inactive. So I would better also review just these specific orders, right? So in combination of service orders that are monitored by Business Central that for a specific response were not yet attended, as well, I could also check those late services, okay? So for me, I need to review 2 things: the dispatch for the new orders and the service orders that are currently inactive. Okay, that's why as well they are status pending. Okay, I'm going to go back to the dispatch board and start allocating some resources. Let's review these orders that where I have already resources allocated. Very good. I have some computers for the Adatum Corporation that I need to attend in the service order number 6. Okay, I have some work to do and I just need to review and I need to have some support from Business Central to tell me which resources, talking about people, right, are currently available to help me to attend immediately a customer. Let's think of this order is urgent or something, right? As you can see here, 2 people were assigned, myself, Noé, with 2 hours, and Mrs. Linda with 4 hours to actually work immediately with the service order number 6 that currently is active, right? So what happened here? How did that happen? And look at this in your same dispatch board. You can see the starting time. If these people has already finished their work, or if they have issues like the description, the reason code of the issue, and some comments, right? As I can see, the service order hasn't been yet completed, right? But I have people that is going to be working with this. Now, how do I actually then work with this type of information? Let me just go back and do something, the review and order that do not have allocations yet. Let me think of process finish. Oh, I don't want to create another from scratch. Okay. Let me think of Linda, allocated hours. All of these orders are very, very old. Okay. Okay, let's review Linda. I'm going to open the resource card. We're going to need to work as well with this. Just to review some configurations. Resources. What happened here with the people that is working currently in my team? And how do I allocate them? Okay, let's review Linda. You will need to, very important, review the general information as well. We have all these people working. In Business Central, we are going to configure the cost and the price of your people by hour most of the time. And here, well, you can see the profit that with percentage they are going to be generating for every hour. all right? So take that idea in mind. And if I take a look at the planning, let's take a look. Okay, this is the resource card. Linda Martin, she's a person. This could be a machine as well. So yes, we are talking about resources now that could be included in the service that we are going to provide, and we're going to see how we actually work with that. Okay, the base unit of measure is by hour, in this case for a person, and here the direct unit cost. Okay, normal configurations because we need to at the end calculate the profit, blah, blah, blah. Most importantly now for my special procedures that I'm attending now with the customer is to review two very important things, their capacity and the availability. Now, if I take a look at the capacity of Linda, currently for attendance of this current service order and for the specific dates of that service, I'm going to be reviewing the hours that every person has for the specific week, right? And the hours available to complete any task. So currently, for these dates, everybody, as you can see here, for Linda, Mark, and Mr. Noé here. And I have different dates, right, for the week. And this is actually in correlation with the date of your service, correct? So that's why we are not seeing today's date. All right, so I can see that I have availability. That's awesome. All these people have, well, not yet the availability, the capacity. We configure the capacity of your people. We could have different calendars if you want to have, for instance, senior consultants, let's think of that, or technicians. They could have a special 40 hours calendar for the week, and we can create different type of calendars for you, right? So this could be for 20 hours, 10 or 40 hours for those technicians that are currently senior. And we are going to have as well, not only the capacity, but the availability that Business Central is going to be reviewing for us, where we're going to review by date how many hours all of our technicians are available, right? Because sometimes most of the times they have 8 hours, but if we are continuing allocating their time to our service orders, these 8 hours will be reduced, all right? Every time until we get and we reach the maximum capacity per day for every user. All right, so let's take a look, I don't know, at the month as another example. And as you can see here, for the total of hours of every month that I could have available after orders, as you can see here for Linda, okay, in the beginning of the year in January, she never used any hour, but in February, she worked 20 hours. In March, she worked, well, 14 hours, okay? And as you can see here, we keep track of every hour that this resource in terms of the capacity and the number of hours we assign to the service order, well, we can see when we have used hours of these people, right? But we don't check by month, we check on a daily basis because we are actually providing continuous work. Okay, after we understand how everything works, from our normal configuration, then that's how we have 2 hours assigned here. And that's how we normally, let me see the resource allocation. Okay, 2 hours here. Mrs. Linda, for that specific date, I'm going to assign, I can change it here manually for a service order number 8. I'm going to change to, why not let's use the entire day for Linda for this, all right? And then in the functions, I can allocate to all service or maybe cancel the allocation because I need Linda in another region and she's going to be traveling. And from the configurations, as you saw before, you can immediately, while you are allocating your people, review the availability or cancel the entries, okay? So I always need to check the availability of my people on every week and every task. And well, I have Noé de la Cruz, only 6 hours available. Okay, let's assign some people here, blah, blah, blah. You decide who you want, and then go to the function allocate, and that's it. Okay, this service order is finished, sorry. But well, the idea is that you need to review your people, review the hours, and that's it, okay? Talking about the time. Now, what about the skills? Sorry. Okay. I just want to give you the idea that in one part you need somebody taking orders, all right, calling with your customer. In this second step of the process, you're gonna have somebody making administration of the time, right, and assigning people. This could be maybe a manager, or this could be somebody internally that is just going to be just reviewing this administrative side of the time and the people, the capacities, etc. But at some point I need a specialized technician to help me with the fault code, with the spare parts to be used, and etc. And to actually provide the service after Linda was assigned to make some work. Okay, this is the second part of my process. Hopefully this is not giving you a headache of all this information we are reviewing, right? I'm trying to give some very easy, understandable information. Service tasks. Here is with my people is going to actually start working, my technicians. Let's forget about the previous administrative work. This is now the technicians working on site, or in my workshop, in my warehouse, or in my store if you want to provide that service. This could be for this big, well, like in the tech stores, if you go with your laptop, you can actually take your item, and they have people working in the actual store providing some repairs. Then if my service tasks currently for Linda, I'm Linda today, I could open this in my tablet while I'm actually just traveling to my customer facilities, right? And basically I'm checking the work that I have to do. You can filter not only by yourself, Linda, maybe Noé, whatever, right? And the allocation status. Let me just, well, not yet review all the filters unless we review first the lines. Okay, I have, Linda has currently this work to perform. Low priority for now, but she still has some response times, right? Of course, she's a technician and she needs to start reviewing all of this information. All right, so I have been assigned, or Linda has been assigned to perform some work on all of this. What she needs to do, remember that somebody takes the information about the troubleshooting and the details about the issue, whatever. That's what we're going to be reviewing now. For me as a technician, I need to attend that information, and specifically for me, now reviewing the laptop with the issues and give the actual information. As well, I can see the serial number, and I can see if my item is under a warranty or not. Okay, not yet to review the contract information, don't worry about it. All right, but for now I have an item, the serial number, and let's take a look at the actual work when I actually start to work. Very well. Okay, of course that you saw that in my service order, I have all the specific issues, okay? They were transferred to my item worksheet. Remember, the item worksheet, service item worksheet, which is this form, is what your technicians are going to be seeing. So I like and I love to open this in a tablet as an example. Remember that this is just a browser, so you can open in any mobile device to review your actual work. And here, the information transfer from the service responsible is here now. So we have a defective spare part to replace. The symptom code that I can review is because I have enough function for a specific a component. So, well, not resolution because I'm the technician. I need to provide that resolution and the status code of the repair. Okay, the technician is going to be checking this. So the technician is going to tell you when is going to be finishing a process or when is still in process throughout the day. Linda should select the in process status. Or I have some other types of specific or special. I have thought about, for instance, the spare parts order. Okay, I have attended my customer, but I cannot finish. I'm waiting for spare parts. This could be as well the case. Or maybe my customer having issues like the customer is not available so I need to first have a negotiation or a review in front of him, maybe, I don't know. So we have different type of statuses. You can think of this, but the idea of the status is that it's going to provide information to tell the service responsible in the service desk some information. Something is if I, for instance, have an issue with the spare parts, well, the people that is going to be giving answers to the customer, they're going to be reviewing the information about something is on hold. Why? Because the technician is actually working on this, but actually they are waiting for spare parts that were ordered, right? So they can provide information when I'm actually as a technician working about some work that needs to be finished with the symptoms and everything we have just talked about. And most importantly, I need to work on the statuses. And here in the lines, for me as a technician, what I'm going to be doing is the following. I have to fill different information when I'm actually working. Let's think of I'm opening this computer and I'm thinking, okay, first of all, if I'm going to go to my customer facilities, I need to insert some expenses. All of this because your technician do not know about any GL accounts or anything like that. Well, we have some specific lines that they could actually work with. Okay, first of all, my travel expenses. All right, how many hours does it took me to travel? All right, for this specific item or service. The start fees, we actually recommend to actually work with that, like with the installation fee or the charges fee or the fuel or whatever. You think of that, we're gonna be working with that. Then we are going to be adding the time, the resources. Linda, you've been giving information in the location code, the quantity of hours that I use, maybe 2, and so on. The fault area, the symptom, and maybe the resolution could be replacement. Very easy. What also I did actually, well, I have GL account, not recommendable for, I don't recommend the GL account for my technicians, but it's available there. Okay, the item, what are the components I'm using here, okay? We can review now from all the component list that, remember, that we have available for me to review. Well, you could start working with the actual components that you want to add. I don't know, I'm just going to add an item, right? And the quantity, whatever. So start adding credit limit being exceeded. Okay, not important for the technician yet. But for me is that I need to start adding all the information about expenses, about the components, about the hours that I used to in this specific work. Let me just take this out. So hopefully that's giving you the idea of what I want, okay? You can print it and give evidence or send it, right, immediately, but you don't have to do anything. Actually, everything is linked. The idea is that you don't print anymore. Since this is the service item worksheet, for me, the technician, I have finalized my work in this example. Very easy, all right? Of course, this could be really complex for the, I don't know, big machinery in a factory where very complex maintenance programs, I don't know, right? The idea is just that I want just to give is that here the technician works and he add all these different specific features. Not yet. It's quite advanced. Okay, you can add still some comments. It took me, I have a conversation with a customer. He agreed with the specific items that I'm including here, or maybe the troubleshooting has changed, or if I even actually, I have some very funny feature for demand overview, where I'm going to be actually just checking for specific dates all the actual service that I need to provide immediately because, sorry, I have an issue here because the quantity, I might not have enough inventory for some components. That's why I'm opening this. But this is even, it could be funny for you to see this, what happened in the service. I always should have components in my warehouse. Well, guess what? That's not always the case. All right, that's why this is most of the time something that I know that the service people is not always in charge of the availability of the items, right? But if you want to as well have this, well, with your purchase team, you would need to actually also review this type of normal operations, because if you don't have the components, guess what? You're not going to be able to provide your service. So basically, that's a service task for the technician. They need to review the availability of the components. They need to add the time they are working. What else? The dates. They need to accomplish that, very important. And they need to review, well, by day, all the specific orders that they currently have. They can add expenses, travel expenses, they can add cost. And as you saw, we have a GL component that we could add that I do not recommend for the technician, but if necessary, they could have availability with permissions for use a specific GL account to directly post into that. All right. Hopefully that's explaining everything for now. And just to finalize, the idea of having all this information, once everything was generated, we are also going to have what we call the timesheet. A timesheet is let's add some time, could be added for a particular service order where Mr. Noe is going to having the possibility to add their own time. In this case, for the service order, this could be used for another module that we call projects. That's why we have these two fields, not important for now. But if I wanted, you could have vacations, holidays. Not only this is most of the time used by technicians, by the technician, where they could add as well the time where they will be working, or if they're going to have holidays. So we do not have only a dispatcher like giving time to the technicians, but the technicians have also a timesheet where they could actually input their own time. The only difference is that when that happens and you give the freedom for your people to fill their own timesheets, is because you actually are going to have somebody reviewing and managing. Okay? So the technician can submit their own time. You can see here the button here, and you could have, if you wanted as well, just to finalize this first part. Where is my timesheet? Where are my timesheets? Okay. If you want, and if you want to let your people fill in their own timesheets, that's another possibility. But somebody needs to actually review and approve the timesheets. Okay. So for Noé, that have the possibility to give me the time for the week. If you want to leave that for the technician so they can plan their time as well, it's a possibility. But at the end, you need to approve or reject any time for any date that they are actually sending for any work. For the service order, they are sending, okay, 4 hours to be planned and pre-approved maybe, right? And then all this information can be then, how then this works, how all the information we are reviewing, where everything is gathered, where at the end, where everything finishes, all right? Because there's a lot of people inputting information, the technician, the people including the time, the spare parts, the technician, etc., etc. Let me then just open a service order that is just in process. Let's think of a service order that currently was attended by all these different documents, right? We are gathering all this information in a service order that is currently in process. And here I have very important, here, sometimes I forget about these different menus. Service item worksheet. A service item worksheet is a place that is giving me evidence about the entire work that was done, the time that was done, that was performed for the particular item. And here, if any of your customer called you, I have opened the service order number 2, where we gather all the information about the resources, the cost, the start fee, the travel expenses, the spare parts that were included, etc., etc., etc. So at the end, that's the most important. So we need a place to gather everything that was inputted, okay, for every service. And we could have many lines here. So that's it. It's very easy at the end, actually. It's just having the possibility to give management to all the different activities, but one place, in one single place, we calculate and we gather all the activities, because at the end, we need to calculate the cost, the price, blah, 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 okay? So at the end, if you want, what you need to do is, let me see, the actions, functions. You need to pause this once everything is finished and change the status from in process or finished, okay? I recommend just at the end, after the technicians have work in everything, the actual technicians, actually, they change the status. So at the end, after the completion of this, I just review all the orders, and once all the work was finished, I'm just going to review for me as the manager, right? All the technicians work on different sites or in the workshop, and I just need to review the finished service orders, because at the end, this is money, this is cost, this needs to be posted in my GL accounts. Sorry for the delays, this is in Azure. You can blame Azure, but at the end, you need to post, okay? Like any purchase order, like any other sales order, right? Once you post this information, we are now going to be doing 4 different things. Excuse me, the last options are very easy to understand, okay? Shipping means that I'm going to be sending not only the people, but sending the components as well from the warehouse, all right? Invoicing now means that I'm going to be creating an invoice for a customer for everything that was recorded, or as well, ship an invoice. That's normal, like 2 procedures that are very standard in Business Central. So you decide what to do according to your policies. And ship and consume, this is new only for services. But it's very easy to understand, because invoice, the difference here is that ship and invoice means that you're going to be providing an invoice for your customer, where you're going to be calculating profit at the end and taxes. But ship and consume means that you're going to be just actually deducting the inventory, and you're going to be absorbing the cost of any item, right? That it's more useful when you have warranties, okay? Very, very important to differentiate, because in one place, in the last new option, for those of you who have never seen this ship and consume option, well, this means that you're going to be absorbing all the expenses. Very, very important. Now you're going to have the possibility to do so. This is for projects, and this is for services. You can have, where I would use this. Oh, you have internal services for your own laptops, for your own facilities, for your own machinery, for if you want to provide maintenance for your own stores, your own POSs, if you sell food for your own fridges, blah, blah, blah. After that is then you select that type of, I'm going to select to create an invoice for now, okay? And given that, oh, there is nothing to pause because, let me see. Oh, I'm absorbing some costs. They have no warranty. Look at this. So I'm not going to be offering an invoice. Sorry, let me see something that is already invoiced. If you don't have warranty, well, that will be something that you need to discuss, okay? You need to discuss with your customers, because the idea is that all the costs will be charged as well. Your customer is going to absorb this, and that will be the final part of the actual procedure, right? So for me, I need to complete some work. Doesn't complete my it's completely allocated, service lines. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to add just a new line just to see the invoicing. I'm going to add some costs, additional. This will be additional because in this case, technician support, I haven't added the completion of the actual service order it was already actually finished in terms of invoicing. I have invoiced already previously my lines. That what happened.
Okay, like if you want to invoice what was already invoiced, you cannot do so. It's just basically that. That's why I'm adding another line, and I'm adding the technician support for the cost for 1 hour, and etc. So I'm going to post now this, so you can see it, and just create an invoice. And this is going to generate a new invoice for this customer, but you have not sold only but a service, right? So hopefully that's giving you some specific ideas of how you can actually work with that. And this is very important because you can invoice your customer on a weekly basis or with a prepayment. I'm going to explain that, how it works, the invoicing side. That's the last part of this webinar. That's part of the contracts that you can actually do. Hopefully you are understanding more or less what is this module about, all right? So you generate normal invoices, but if I take a look at, let me open a post-it here, posted service invoice. Just finishing, guys. I know that there's a lot of information. We are finishing. The last part is the easiest part, actually. How do we actually generate invoices? Let me just open my invoice that I have created. Okay. The invoices that we are going to be having here have a relationship. They are not normal sales invoices. They are actually service invoices, but they are actually just the same. We have a cost, we have a profit that we have generated, but now they most of the time only include only the fees, the resources, and components, right? If isn't absolutely necessary, you could actually just sell here an actual item, but that's not for this webinar. That's another only specific feature. We would, if we want to sell, we just use a regular sales order. But this is now generated to then send this to my customer. Nothing special here, just showing you that we have integration with PDF, we have electronic documents that we can create. If you have exchange services, well, with Outlook we have, for settings, okay. And we have integration with Outlook, and we can sell this to your printers. Okay, and I have just sending an email that was already done. You can add some text, and here everything was just prepared for you. So the very beautiful PDF was created, so you can just check it and blah, 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 okay? Just part of the regular standard. It's not the most beautiful design that I have seen, but it's good. Here you have all the information, the invoice number, the invoice date. So this is part of what the customer would be receiving. So this is a PDF where you can send this to Word, to Excel, well, most of the time Word or PDF. Okay, let me just finish this. So you can see that we just generate normal invoices, but maybe only related with service tasks, not stock items, not this type of other features. Okay, now let's go to another important part just to finalize, which is the service contracts. What I did previously is just I've created an actual normal manual invoice, but that's not the only possibility here. If you want to actually prepare a program for your customers where you are going to be just creating an invoicing, that's why we use the contracts. You want, and you have a negotiation with your customers specifically for the invoicing, because you at the end with some specific and most important customers, you're going to have many service orders. What happened if you have that option with some customers, and with the time, if you want to implement this, well, with the time you're going to have large customers that are going to be requiring more specialized and very large programs of maintenance. For that, we have programs. And what a program does most importantly is that it's going to have a lot of items included for where you are going to be offering a service, not only one. In a service order, we just include one. A service contract might include all the items that you have sold to a customer. And also very important, you can decide for any any program, if you want to receive a prepayment, this is a prepaid contract, as you can see here. And if I create a new one just for the webinar, I'm going to have these different possibilities where you're going to have the possibility to create policies for the actual type of invoicing procedure that you want to have. This is very important now for you can have conversations with the accounting people, right? How do you want to offer your programs? You could receive prepayments for every activity. Non-prepaid, this means that you might most of the time just go work and at the end prepare an invoice for every work, you prepare a normal invoice, right? Prepaid contracts is because maybe on a monthly basis, right? You're gonna charge a fee so you can continue offering your services like having like an insurance. Your customer can pay you a monthly fee to continue with an open services program, right? Where anytime they want to call, they are going to have maybe 24-hour service processes, services 24/7, I don't know. But in order to have the type of great service, you need to, of course, have to charge, of course. That's why we have the prepaid process. Or non-prepaid, well, that's a normal type of procedure. So upon a service that you are opening, a service order or for any item that you want to work with, then you're going to be actually just on a order by order offering a new invoice. Now, we do not only have in a program the possibility to charge in advance. Very important. The service period, how often you want to actually prepare the invoice details. Okay, for a service period, this has got to have somehow some logic. Okay, maybe 3 months. Every 3 months I'm going to be, or maybe every month. Let me see if I can change it now. Oh no, it's because I have already released this contract. Okay, but every three months, I'm going to be having some visits for the customer at most. Okay, of course they can call me, no? But this has got to have some logic. Every time I visit my customer, at least I need to create one invoice. So for the invoice details, you can decide how often you want to create. If you create only a contract, how often you want to prepare an invoice for your customers on a monthly basis, every 2 months, on a quarter, or only at the end of the year, just as an example. The idea here is that you can design your contracts to actually, instead of preparing only one invoice by invoice, then just offer a general invoice for all the activities performed through a specific period that you can decide here. And then, well, here is the next invoice date. We have a function that is going to be creating all the invoices for you, so you don't have to create any more manually any invoice. Next period, next invoice period, very well. This will be at the end of this month. Well, actually, in April. You can decide if this is going to be prepaid. Automatic credit memos, because sometimes you are going to make some corrections for your contracts. That's a possibility. In terms of maybe a service order cannot be created. Maybe the customer is occupied, maybe, and they have issues, and we need to create them. That's something advanced that we are going to be in order to correct my contracts, okay? But yes, the idea is that even though you have planified a monthly invoices or prepaid invoices or whatever, you still can make some adjustment. It's not a problem. Okay, that's, well, some other setups we have, but for now, hopefully you're getting the idea of the contract. The idea is preparing an invoicing process, and then include all the items that your the actual customer has purchased. And every time they purchase a new item from your company, this can be included as well in the contract. Why? Because we are offering a special cost. You can define for your entire program the cost. If you want to offer discounts as well, very, very important. And once you have defined, we can provide you ideas for different policies if you want to implement this. This is just a general overview. At the end, we just sign a contract. So if your customer agrees with the actual program for the maintenance or for the repairs or visits on a monthly basis, I don't know, then we just sign this. Okay, so once I have filled this, let's imagine that in the previous process that I showed, we only created one service order, right? And because of time constraints, we are actually just finished now. I'm going to be, I cannot prepare more invoices, but on a normal basis, I will be having more service orders to be attended. I don't know, 10, 20 on a daily basis, right? But what happens if I have a contract? Those invoices that were sent by the people telling the service is finished, let's invoice that. Okay, they are not going to be using the invoice on the sales order, on the service order. We're going to have a general function in my contract where I'm going to be preparing an actual invoice. From the options that I have here, we can lock a contract, we can create an invoice for the periodic basis you have set up. You can sign the contract. Lock the contract means, excuse me, that you cannot use it. Simple as. Sign the contract means that it's going to be released and available to be used and create service orders. And at the end, we can create service invoices for the customer for at the end of the month for all the services that were actually released. Okay, so that's why the service contracts are more useful when we have multiple service orders for a customer. With this, we are finishing. With this, you saw more or less the idea of how we use this module. If you have more doubts about how you want to use it, how to use it, just let me know. We are finishing now the webinar. Thank you very much for your times. I'm going to stay here just in case you want to ask anything about the module or the